Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Scooter Roth, and welcome back to another episode of Messy Desk. I know it's been a few weeks. I did move my office recently, so it's good to get back into the swing of things. My son, who's going on 3 years old already, he's starting up daycare again, which gives me a little bit more free time in the week. I've basically been a stay-at-home dad for the past couple months, doing a lot of the album processes and some of the behind-the-scenes aspects of photography. So anyway, I recently had an issue regarding emails going out my Gmail through my Gmail, and I wanted to finally figure out what the hell was going on because it's been frustrating me, and I really haven't had a chance to sit and figure it out, and I finally did. So that's what today's video is all about. All right, so before we get into today's video, I want to make sure you click subscribe and keep an eye on what I'm doing here. I have several different series here. This is the Messy Desk, where I sit back and I talk about the office end of things of being a photographer. I also have a Messy Studio where I talk about gear, and then I have a series called Changing Optics where I talk about nonprofit philanthropy work and just bettering the community. So with that being said, once again, make sure to click subscribe. Anyway, today's video is about emails that I've been sending out through my scottrothevents.com. If you happen to have gotten an email, and I'm going to show you the screen now, you may have gotten something like this that is you may have gotten something that says message not delivered. You're sending this from a different address or alias using the send mail as feature. The settings for your send mail as account are misconfigured or out of date. Check those settings and try resending. Now, I think the reason why we started getting this is because of something with the Gmail settings, how Google has been putting in a lot of security platforms behind the scenes. So you may have seen that your Google platforms are not connecting as much with your other platforms. So there's a lot more behind the scenes work that you got to do as far as integrating when it comes to mail, calendar, things like that. Now, usually the software companies that you're using are doing a lot of that back-end security stuff for you to make sure that they're compliant. But anyway, so my scottrothevents.com, like I said, is through wordpress.org as far as the platform, as far as where the website is. But I'm using something called Web Hosting Pad to host the site. So you will sit back and see here at the bottom the response: TLS Negotiation failed. The certificate doesn't match the host. So in order to fix this and what was going on, I figured, all right, well, maybe I'll just change my email, the email password, and see what happens. So when you go over to this screen, so this is my main scottrothevents.org, not scottrothevents.org, my main cPanel. So when you're dealing with a WordPress.org or any kind of like a hosting platform, you have a cPanel, and that's what you want to go into in order to make the changes that you need to make. So the first thing you'll do is under email accounts, this is where I would have changed my password. But for the main issue that I was having, I didn't need to change my password, but I went to do that first. But I'm going to show you in a second. This is the reason why you don't really need to change that password there, unless you're getting a whole bunch of spam or something like that, and you want to change the password anyway. But what I'm going to do is on this screen, my Gmail account, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click up here at the top right under Settings. Let me go into See All Settings. And on this screen, your settings, if we go to Accounts and Import, you're going to sit back and see the Send Mail As. And that's where the issue that I'm having is. So under this part where it says check mail from other accounts, and this is my POP3 account, you can see that it's getting the mails as it should. It's not having any issue or disconnection there. So if this is fine, then you don't need to change your password on that other part. But if it's having a problem, then you want to change your password, or you can change your password anyway. But this is where the issue was happening. Is you'll sit back and see that one of the emails that I have to send mail, outgoing mail from, that's where the issue was. And for the longest time, I would go there, I'd edit info, and I would sit back and add my email address and my password here. And for the longest time, the settings there were fine. There was no issue with it. But then for some reason, when I would sit back and I put my password there, it wasn't reading it, and it wasn't accurate. So I wasn't sure what was going on. And a lot of people I've seen that have this question are wondering, like, well, what password do I put there? So we're going to go back into that. So let me exit out of this real quick. I'm going to go back over to this cPanel here. So, and I'm going to go back to the main window. I'm going to go back to the email. So instead of going on email accounts where I could change my password, I'm going to go over here to something called email deliverability. Click on that. Click on this one, manage. And this email address, this server address, you want to make sure that that is the server address that's listed on that other screen. So that's when you go into this edit info, and when you're sitting there doing this screen, you want to make sure that you enter that address there. So that email address may have changed, but that's what you want to do. And then you could add in your password there, your regular password, and it should work. So that's what I did, and as soon as I tested that, my email started going out and working again. And as you can see here, this valid. So when I first logged into it before I make the change, this said invalid. So that's where I knew that the change was happening. So that's basically the how do you say that word? Crux. That's basically the crux of what this video is about. It's if you're having that current issue of sending your emails out from your main website through Gmail, look into this fix, and I hope it helps you. Anyway, stay tuned. Coming up next week, hopefully we're looking to do a feature for a Kindness for Christopher campaign. June 24th is coming up. It's going to be 5 years since the loss of Chris D'Amico Jr., who was a young kid here in Mount Arlington who lost his life. We're not going to go too much into detail about the sad part of it, but we're going to hopefully look to speak to Chris and talk a little bit about the Kindness for Christopher campaign and the great work that it's been doing. So I will see you next week for an episode of Changing Optics. Once again, click subscribe. This was an episode of Messy Desk, and we hope you're having fun. Stay safe. The COVID crisis is still not over, but I know things are starting to get back to normal, so be safe and take care.